Okay, before we move on, there was something else that I did mention that I thought would be interesting to look at and then kind of have a discussion about because I think it's an important topic. And luckily enough, it's something that we were thinking about making a video already about. But either way, Wizards of the Coast have put out a diversity in Dungeons and Dragons article. Regardless of the Out of the Abyss custom thing that we have up there, fucking ignore that. It's not about Out of the Abyss, it's about the article right over here. So let's read this and see what the hell they're talking
So
about.
it's D and D and D and D.
D and
And
D
D
and
and
D.
D.
Yes.
D and D and D.
Dungeons and Dragons teaches that diversity is strength. For only a diverse group of adventurers can overcome the many challenges a D&D story presents. In that spirit, making D&D as welcoming and inclusive as possible has moved to the forefront of our priorities over the last 6 years. We'd like to share with you what we have been doing and what we plan to do in the future to address legacy D&D content that does not reflect who we are today. Talking about the fucking
The
Drow.
fact that
The
this
Drow.
was made in the 1970s and
Where like
it was fine.
It fed into stereotypes of like
Exactly.
certain things.
Exactly.
If you aren't if you want like a little bit of like a future presentation, it's about drows and orcs, but mostly our focus point's gonna be on drows because I think it's a very serious thing.
Yeah, I think the orc
That
is just a
D&D
side mention.
It's a side mention.
Like, honestly.
When it says we present orcs and drow down here, no, ignore the orcs part
I
because
mean, they have to put that because...
it doesn't make it obvious that
Exactly.
it's just the drow that they're trying to talk
Exactly.
about. But regardless,
And the black people, the Neoclus.
oh don't, oh, no, we're trying to stop them from saying shit like that. In this video, we like to share with you what we've been doing and what we plan to do in the future to address legacy D&D content that does not reflect who we are today. We recognize that doing this isn't about getting to a place where we can rest on our laurels, but continuing to head in the right direction. Okay. We feel that being transparent about it is the best way to let our community help us to continue to collaborate our efforts. One of the explicit design goals of 5th edition D&D is to depict humanity in all of its beautiful diversity by depicting characters who represent an array of ethnicities, gender identities, sexual orientations, and beliefs.
Really, ethnicities.
Yep.
We've never talked about
This is like the first time they've ever addressed something like this.
Yeah.
It may not be. I don't know. But like this is the first time we've seen it. So that's why I'm saying it like that. We want everyone to feel at home around the game table to see positive reflections of themselves within our products. Human in D&D means everyone, not just fantasy versions of Northern Europeans, and the D&D community is now more diverse than it's ever been. Throughout the 50-year history of D&D, some of the peoples in the game, orcs and drow, being two of the prime examples, have been characterized as monstrous and evil. We're just focusing on this part right here. Using descriptions that are painful, reminiscence of how the real world ethic groups have
because
been
notice that they don't talk about
degenerate.
Duragar, which are literally
Same thing.
dwarves that are literal monsters. So, I mean, yeah.
It probably would have been better. Who knows? I guess orcs in a weird way could be depicted in a very negative light all the time.
They're a monster race. They made them a monster race.
It's a lot easier for us to look at this.
Exactly.
Because drows are depicted as a monster race.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
But elves aren't. Like certain elves aren't. That's where we're gonna. Yeah, if you're not comfortable with talking about this stuff, or this is just an uncomfortable topic, I understand. You might want to click away from this video, but this is what we're getting into in this video. We're going to be talking about what we feel about this kind of topic because it's very important to us because we are black. Yep, we recognize that to live our values, we have to do it even better in handling these issues. If we make mistakes, our priority is to make things right. I like that. Here's what we're doing to improve. We present orcs and drow in a new light in two of our most recent books, Aberon, Rise of the Last of War, Explorer's Guide to Wildmine. In those books, orcs and drow are just as morally and culturally complex as other peoples. We will continue their approach in future books, portraying all the peoples of D&D in relatable ways and making it clear that they are as free as humans to decide who they are and what they do.
I just want to point out that Guide to Wildmount is Matt Mercer's book mainly, and that he's just affiliated.
Regardless, I get what they're saying.
Yeah.
When every D&D book is reprinted, we have an opportunity to correct errors that we or the broader D&D community discovered in that book. Each year, we use these opportunities to fix a variety of things, including errors in judgment. In recent reprintings of Tomb of Annihilation and Curse of Strahd, for example, we changed text that was racially insensitive. Those, yeah.
I didn't know.
If you look at, it's interesting. If you look at like older books or the older versions of some of those modules, it's actually kind of like
too offensive.
It could be seen as offensive.
Oh damn! I never read the older ones.
I've only seen like certain screenshots and stuff of them, like before and after. And some of it's not pretty. Those reprints have already been printed and will be available in the months ahead. We will continue this process, reviewing each book as it comes up.
So they're not even made yet.
No, not yet. It's just them pointing out this.
I haven't read any of them.
There's certain things that are in the. Oh my god.
That are racy. Okay. Okay. All right.
It's not. This isn't a moral fucking thing. I feel like it's easy for because of the fact that we are a D&D channel. It's a lot easier for us to look at this company in a good light because, I mean, obviously, let's be honest. Recently, nowadays, it's obvious that they're just doing what they want to do, and they're just. I don't see anything that is racially insensitive.
It's the thing of
nowadays.
Tomb of Annihilation and Curse of Strahd. These are literal reinterpretations of older books, which literally they only changed really mostly stat blocks and the way things operate just to fit 5e. It's not like they really changed the book. It's basically the same book.
Interesting. Later this year, we will release a product not yet announced that offers a way for a player to customize their character's origins, including the option to change the ability score increases that come from being an elf, a dwarf, or one of D&D's many other playable folk. This option emphasizes that each person in the game is an individual with capabilities of their own. I don't know if that plays a factor, if I'm being honest. I just think that's just a cool feature.
They also it's just a cool feature. To show that,
we're trying to do different things. And I can see how that can fit.
And it's probably also due to the fact that, min-maxers will generally tend to just only play a certain race because they kind of feel like they have to in order to min-max. And
I think that is something we need to implement because one of our friends, this is not picking on him by any means. He likes to I'm not saying not metagame, but he likes to use certain characters to he likes a certain abilities of certain characters, and then he likes to mix and match, but he doesn't really have that ability, so he'll just stick it out with one race and then just kind of go from there. Because like with the lizard folk warlock, the guy that's playing it, he just likes the fact that he just likes the combination. That's why he did it. It wasn't the fact that they get this improvement or then this improvement.
Lizard folks are perfect for warlocks.
And that's unusual for him.
Yeah, no.
Because he typically
he's stepping out of his comfort zone.
Like I said, I've been impressed with that group recently because they've been just doing what they want to do and just having fun with their character, which is I think is
so we're trying to encourage.
Which is something that I feel like is important. And them being able to do that, I think, is important just for the game. Not the topic that we're talking about, but for the game in general.
Yeah.
Curse of Strahd included a people known as Vestian and featured the Vestian heroine Esmeralda. Regrettably, their depiction echoes some stereotypes associated with the Romani people in the real world.
Romani?
Romani?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry if I'm mispronouncing things. To rectify that, we've not only made changes to Curse of Strahd.
Oh, see, I wouldn't have I would not make a correlation because I don't know what a Romani person is.
Me neither. But in 2 upcoming books, we will also show working with a Romani consulate.
Okay,
that's the Vistayan in a way that doesn't rely on reductive tropes.
Okay, I mean, all right.
We've received valuable insight from sensitive readers on 2 of our recent books. We are incorporating sensitivity readers into a creative process, and we will continue to reach out to experts in various fields to help us identify our blind spots.
Man, that's probably gotta suck for them because they have to restructure
everything.
Yeah.
But I'm just impressed that they're even doing it.
Exactly.
The fact that you would go back and just even consider doing something like that, it does mean a lot.
But I'm wondering if that means more money to shell out.
Yeah, unfortunately, and it also means that like the future projects get held back because they're putting more money into just fixing simple mistakes.
Exactly.
Which isn't terrible. It's just one of those things where there's positives and negatives.
I'm just wondering if this is going to be available in free PDF forms. As like reprints or as like what do you call them? Like addendums, basically. Like, okay, this is an addendum versus a new book completely.
I doubt it, but like,
who knows? We'll have to see.
Whenever it happens, it happens.
Exactly.
We've received valuable insights from sensitivity. I've already read that. Sorry. We're proactively seeking new diverse talent to join our staff and our pool of freelance writers and artists. We booked in contributors who reflect the beautiful diversity of the D&D community to work on books coming out in 2021. We're going to invest even more in this approach and add a broad range of new voices to join the chorus of D&D storytelling. And we will continue to listen to you all. We've created 5th edition in conversation with the D&D community. It's a conversation that continues to this day. That's at the heart of our work, listening to the community, learning what brings you joy, and doing everything we can to provide it in every one of our books. This part of our work will never end. We know that every day someone finds the courage to voice their truth, and we're here to listen. We are eternally grateful for the ongoing dialogue with the D&D community, and we look forward to continuing to improve D&D for a generation to come.
That's awesome.
That's great.
That's good to hear.
I'm just happy that they put something out.
Yeah, it's a positive outlook that is being expressed within the company.
Yep.
And the audience will be able to see that now.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
It's nice to have that and for people to
I'm sure it's not simple, just cranking out books like everybody wants them to. I want them to, but it's hard.
It's not easy.
This shit's not easy at all.
And with all that positive stuff and all the good stuff that is come from this, and that's great, let's talk some serious shit. We're talking about Drow. Now, if any of you know the history of the Drow in Dungeons and Dragons, it's heavily relied on slavery, whipping people,
matriarchy,
their
brutality.
The darkness of their skin is heavily emphasized a lot, and it is often emphasized as a bad thing because every elf of that skin has done bad things or done that way. That's just how the history and the tradition of Drow has been raised up still to this day. And I will say that much. Nothing has really changed besides the fact that they've recently done different things or had different varieties. Because what they're talking about in those 2 books are different varieties.
Exactly.
Of Drow. They're not talking about their actual core.
No, they're not talking about elf. They're talking about Drow.
They're not talking about... They're talking about the different variety of Drows and Wildmount with Matt Mercer's campaign. Or
the fact that, he actually...
What was the other one?
He makes them very positive in his. He has he actually has them have their own, country, their own nation, essentially speaking.
And Eberron is also just its own setting. So, granted, is it nice that they're mentioning those two books? Yes, but it's not the core. We're talking about the core history of the Drow. It's just not a positive thing. And that's just how it is. Drow have always been evil. I remember first edition, Drow, you're automatically evil.
Yep.
That's just how that was. And it's different looking at this topic nowadays for us because we have a campaign on this channel called it's the original AC2 High campaign, but it is based in the Tal'Dorei setting, which is Matt Mercer's setting. Mm-hmm. It's weird because we did feel comfortable doing this in his setting because of the outlook of Drow already, but we unintentionally did something that, now reflecting on it, is incredibly beautiful and allowed us to continue and wanted us to continue our storyline and Tal'Dorei.
Literally day one, the whole thing was they created an organization called the Foundation, which was essentially the Underground Railroad for Drows.
Mm-hmm. And that was the base concept. That was the concept of the entire thing. That was a year and a half ago? That was a year and a half ago when we started this. And we were just playing to play. Mm-hmm. This was... I had already had the concept of wanting to play a Dark Elf already. Mm-hmm. She was going to be a wizard. Name's Trixie. I had the three things there. Now, character development is such a hard thing in general that playing in every session is just... It takes time to develop and try to understand the interest. But I didn't realize that Justo was going to play a Drow too, which led to it being...
this is a Drow campaign.
Exactly. Originally, it was going to be more than just me and him playing, but it turned into a 3-person campaign. DM, me, and Justo. And the three of us have played through 2 seasons of Drow discrimination, us being above ground and facing all sorts of hardship for the way that we look. Mm-hmm. Every other city is judging us and judging the way we have. And we just recently started season 3, and we've had several tries of this.
Let's put the fact to the light that Justo doesn't play a very good Drow either, so it doesn't help.
I think that helps actually. Because
it doesn't help his case.
No, not his case.
No.
We're not talking about cases right now. Yeah. What I'm saying is that the fact that he is playing a very negative Drow that is very stereotypical and kind of fits into that mold, and I'm playing the exact opposite, I think shows the diversity that you have with just one race and not having it be one thing. As much as you can say that what Justice is doing is stereotypical, which it fucking is, it plays into the story very well because it's showing the yin and the yang of the entire story and how it can blend into this wonderful mess of chaotic nonsense. And this is not us using this platform and this article to just promote our content. This is just us showing and expressing the things that we've in our recent D&D. We've only been playing D&D for about 2.5 years now. Us just kind of reflecting on what we've done. This was just us initially doing that, and I now reflecting on it. This is us kind of like weirdly having like a cry for help, but not knowing that.
Yeah, that was literally...
Like, it was in our minds. It was subconsciously. We wanted to put a story about, let's be honest, we have elves, or the humans, which are depicted as white people in this scenario. And then we have the Drow. We're depicting them as black people. This is just what this video is. If you're uncomfortable, just decide to skip this video and go on to something else that isn't reflected on racial topics. We're talking about that. We're talking about white people, black people, humans, elves. Dark elves,
like,
specifically.
Was it Wizards of the Coast intentions to make it like that?
No. It was not.
Did it turn into that?
Yes.
Maybe.
No, I don't think there was a maybe. My opinion, I think this was just a fact that it reflects culture. And it reflected culture in a very negative sense. Come on. You got Drow whipping people. Granted, are they their own people? Yes. But there's whips. There's slavery.
We can also say the same thing for the white people in the game, too. They do the same thing.
Yeah, they would.
Yeah.
It was kind of like insane thinking about it, because when we were first like exploring the Drow background, maybe about 2 years ago, we were just like looking at it as a story, and it was just like, this is an interesting story.
Yeah.
It would be fun to put ourselves in that scenario. We put ourselves into the scenario, and now 2.5 years, we started the campaign about 1.5 years ago at this point, and now with all the important topics going around, revolving around race and racial discrimination, I think it's kind of beautiful, the fact that we can actually say that we've done something as far as campaign-wise and just as far as self-expression-wise, that reflects such a very dark history. Now, here's the part of the video where this is a self-promotion. We have been playing this campaign for 1.5 years. And if you want to see a campaign that is, granted, it is in Matt Mercer's Tal'Dorei campaign. So it is based off the campaign book that he had for that a while ago. But it's basically about the topics that are going on right now. We didn't intend to do it this way.
I mean, we predicted this a year and a half ago?
We didn't mean to.
Impossible.
I promise you, we didn't mean to. But that's what that is. Our AC2 High Tal'Dorei campaign is exactly what is reflected in our society today. Most of the Drow, and I'm saying 90% of the Drow that are presented in this campaign are good. They're good/neutral. Mostly good. They're depicted in a way.
It's literally a struggle for them to come from the underground and just be a part of society, but society keeps pushing them down each time. Even the people from their own society are keeping them down in a sense and not allowing them to fully flourish the way that they want to. They don't know any other way to live. They've never been taught any other way to live. They have been doing this for centuries at this point in time. And so therefore, how does one become normal? What is normal for them? Will they ever become normal? Will they just continue living down there for the remainder of their years and never surface or never become someone or something that can thrive in a normal society? Well, if they come up from underground, do they just act the way they did when they were down there? Do they become better than the people that lived on the surface? We would never know the answer to these questions until you guys take the journey with us.
So yeah, season 3 is going to be out, I think, around sometime near the end of this month. We're going to start doing some season 3 stuff, which I'm very excited because so far our season 3 recordings have been great. We've had some some test recordings, and I will say one moment in one of these test recordings, it just made me. I think it was the accumulation of all the hard work that I unintentionally did with this character, and it was, I went into this Adventurers Guild, the guild at some town, I don't remember at this point. We walked in. I walked in myself, and I was just looking at quests, and there was this young adventurer, young kid, who recognized Trixie, and it was a Drow, right?
Yeah.
It was a Drow kid, and this kid idolized her. And being in a weirdly outer body experience where I'm like where I'm just like, I'm watching this, and it's me. It's weirdly, it's me.
That's what it's supposed to feel like.
And it's just like, I literally was crying for like a good 10 minutes after that session. Because I'm just like, that was incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
And it was just something simple.
It was natural. For me, it was natural. And for me, it just made sense of that would happen. Drow would be a little bit, they felt empowered. They felt that they can be somebody, even more than just a stereotype. And so therefore, yeah, this kid's young, but he wants to become an adventurer. He's heard of Bishop, the young adventurers. He's heard of, you, Trixie. So he has two good examples that he can definitely follow.
And before we drag along to different topics in this video, let's put on some serious links. Now, in the links in the description, you will see some organizations, some ways, and some YouTube videos that will help you be educated on this topic of the sad and serious discrimination that is happening in America currently. And I don't think it's just America, the world, because it's pretty much spread that far at this point. And it's serious to be educated on this if you're going out and you're doing something about it. If you want to go out and do something about it, if you want to donate to a worthy cause, there will be links in the description below. And honestly, it's kind of insane the amount of things that are happening in this world. And be careful, be safe, take care of yourself. And honestly, I just wish the best for those with good intentions. And with those who don't understand the struggles and stuff, it's not about you really understanding the struggles. I just wish understanding upon you. And I wish an open mind. Other than that, I thank you guys for watching this video, and stay tuned, because we have a lot of content coming up.
Oh,
Bye.
I'm so mad. Wow.